Hi guys, my name is Caitlin Rowe and I'm going to be explaining and showing the Apple Pencil and iPad. Um, I have been loving these products just because it has made my teaching a lot more personable with my students as well as more hands-on for me. It has allowed me to, I feel like, effectively teach just in new ways. And so this video is going to show you how to use a specific app called Explain Everything, as well as some of just the iPad features and how you can kind of use that in your classroom. So the first thing that I want to introduce you to is the actual pen itself, and it looks just like this. I will insert a picture, and the top comes off to charge it, and it's kind of easy to lose. So I have bought this thing on Amazon to kind of keep it attached to my iPad, and I find it really useful. And this is the iPad. I have the smaller one. They also have a larger iPad Pros, and I think that is a really great option to use if you would like a bigger screen, but I don't think it is necessary. I think it is I can use a smaller screen and it's not a big deal, but I know some people might like the bigger screen, especially if you work with smaller students. It might be nice for them if you want to have them also interact with the screen. I'm going to quickly show you how to use um, the iPad, and so there are a couple applications that you can use to teach, but I'm just going to show you one specific teaching application that I think is really great, and I'm going to also show you how to just kind of use the iPad functions that they already has to also enhance your teaching, and I'm going to try to do two different subjects. So the first subject that I want to use to talk about how this tool has like changed my teaching is math, and that is using the Explain Everything app. And this is actually my personal iPad right here, and my school also gives iPads though to teachers who request it, but this is my personal one and I use it a lot in college, and so I really found it to be really helpful for me as a college student, and so I knew that this would also be helpful for me as a teacher. So I go to this app called Explain Everything, this one right here, purple E, and it's super easy to use, super user friendly. I do believe that you might need a subscription, and you might request one from your school because my school does um, pay for it because it has really helped with a lot of teachers in using and implementing technology, but they do have a free version as well. So the first thing that I want to kind of show you are the two ways that I have taught math using this application, the Apple Pencil and the iPad. The biggest thing is that I am able to walk around the classroom as I am teaching, and that has really helped to keep students engaged and just to understand what is going on and for me to understand where my students are at. But the first thing that I want to show you is one method of how I teach. The first is by just taking screenshots or pictures, like actual pictures, and adding a picture to this of a physical worksheet. And I found that this has been really helpful in times of, just say there's one problem in the workbook that all the students just, or most of them just don't get, that I thought they would get, and you know how that can happen sometimes in the class. And it just, in the moment, I was like, okay, everyone stop. We need to go over this one just together. And I can just take a picture at it and start working through it. Or sometimes it's nice to switch it up a bit. And as you can see here on the right hand side, there are all these buttons here, and these buttons are super, super helpful. Because there's many options. There's a pen, and you can choose different colors even. Highlighter, again, you can choose different colors. Eraser, shapes, um, um, so many different options. And the students don't actually see the sidebar on the side either. They only see this screen, what you are casting. You can change those settings if you'd like, but I like that because it kind of keeps the screen clean and to keep distractions to a minimum as you are teaching. So what I like to do is if we're just going through the word problem and there's something that I think they need to remember, I can just highlight it as I'm talking, and it's just easy to do, just like that. Really simple. I really love colors, and I love how they help you sometimes organize your thinking and just kind of engage students. So I love that I can choose different colors so easily. Bright takes 2 seconds to change it, and it's really easy to do that. And I found that my students also like to take notes in colors, and I really think that helps enhance their learning and just their engagement overall. Some teachers may not like that, but I personally do. Um, and then another part of this is sometimes, let's say, um, I just need to give some extra problems on the board, extra. I can just write them out kind of right here, and just students follow along. Another thing that you can do is that I just love that I can just draw diagrams and pictures so easily when we're solving something. And I think Common Core is all about visuals, it's about pictures, representations, data, graphs. And it's just easy to do that on the tip of my fingers, just like this. Yeah. Another function that I really appreciate about this too, and I will just do a blank page for you for that, is the recording aspect. Now, there have been times in this red button right here, there have been times where I have had a sub, or let's say I knew a student was going to be sick, or I even tried this a couple times, a student who struggles with attention during class. I have recorded my teaching or just a couple problems of me doing it, and I can send it to them right away. Now, when you hit the record button, you can and you can't, if you like to choose, hit the record button for voice, for sound. You could also just do for visuals in itself. And so sometimes they don't need the voice, they just need to see you do the work through the problem, or sometimes they would like the audio. And so I just love the differentiation and accommodation that provides. And it's not like I have to do extra work. Sometimes I literally just record the lecture or the lesson that I'm doing in class, and students basically don't really miss out. And it's been really great. Another thing with math that I do, and this is to my specific teaching, is I will make a Google Doc slide for each lesson and attach and take screenshots and put it into the slide of different problems that I would like them to do. And this is easy for me because I don't have to write out everything, and it's just on the go. And I can just work through it with them. And like I said, I love colors. And it's great for me to show the work. And while I'm doing all this, I'm walking around the classroom, stopping next to the students who I know need extra help, standing by the students who I know need extra help with attention, and just asking even more questions to other students who are ahead. And I see that they've solved it really quickly. And I feel like that has really changed just my understanding of my students' learning. So there's the two ways that I teach math. I've also added graphs and different pictures. Help just depends on the lesson, but kind of the basic way to do it. The next thing that I want to show is kind of how to teach not using an application and in a different subject area, and that is writing. I have my students go through the writing process a lot, and during this writing process, a big part of that is knowing how to edit someone's writing, as well as how to just give good feedback and criticism and what peer editing is. So what I'll do is I'll just go have them share it with me on a Google document, and I would suggest you to download the Google Docs application. And so I kind of just found one of my students' ones right here. I take a screenshot, and then I can kind of edit it just right here and there. And what I will do is I'll actually show my students how I will do this, and sometimes we'll do it as a class. So let's say there's a spelling error somewhere. I didn't really choose one that had a lot of errors, but let's say this word was like a spelling error. I can show them how to correct a spelling error, or if there's a grammatical error, I can show them what that looks like, and we can kind of do it as a class, and I can teach them, and we can kind of walk through it together, and I think that's been a really great part of the writing process, because students are less scared about making mistakes because they know that that's just part of writing. And I don't choose writers unless I know that they are confident and if they want to volunteer. And even actually, I've done this too with upper grades as well, is where I will edit their piece of writing just like this on the iPad as well. So this can be younger on elementary grades to upper high school grades. This function and this use of the Apple Pencil and the iPad is beneficial. So yeah, I really just love how I can just kind of underline, highlight, make comments on the side. Um, and it's really, yeah, it's just really easy. Erasing is so easy. You can make it into a pencil, and you can do a highlighter. There's just so many functions that you could really use. And I think it's all in the palm of your hand, and it's just so easily accessible.